Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the next session. In this session, we're going to continue mastering XPath. So, in the last session, we talked about what is XPath, what are the different type of XPath. So, we have two types of XPath, absolute XPath and relative XPath. Then we saw how you identify um, absolute XPaths. Then we discussed how we identify relative XPaths, and then we saw the difference between the absolute XPath and the relative XPath. Right now, in this session, we are going to talk about how to identify dynamic web elements. Okay, so let's first talk about what are dynamic web elements. Dynamic web elements are the one which changes dynamically, like their IDs, their class name, or the text associated with them changes, or their location changes frequently. So how can you identify these elements uh, whose properties are changing or whose attributes are changing? So the best possible way to identify these dynamic web elements are: first, search for another web element which is unique and stable, and then you can identify the desired element with respect to that. Okay, so we can use certain methods, we can use certain operators or access to reach to these desired nodes. So let's see an example for this, then you will understand it better. So for that, I have logged into Guru 99 website, and I have filled in the form which comes after this new customer. So after filling up the form, we get this table where you can see in the 4th row and second cell, we have the customer ID. And this customer ID we get only from here. So what I want to do is I want to traverse this table and want to fetch this ID. Okay. Now, there are multiple examples I'm going to give you here. Okay, in different iterations, when I'll be covering the topics like functions, then I will be giving you more examples. So let me first give you the idea about the dynamic element here. So dynamic element is that this value, when you check its HTML code, you will see that it does not have anything unique. If you see, this TD does not have any locator or any does not have any attribute. It only has this TD, right? There is no attribute. We can not uniquely identify it directly. So what we are going to do, if you go above this TD, we definitely know that these TDs and TRs comes in a table, because TR means the row, TD means the cell. So definitely they comes under a table, right? So what we are going to do is we are uniquely going to identify this table first, and then with respect to this table, I'm going to reach to this ID, the customer ID, right? So how we are going to do? Let's say I do a control F, then first I'll search for table, right? When I say /table, it gives me two tables. Here in the right, you can see it gives you two tables. Do we need this one? No, I don't need this one. Rather, I need the second one, right? So what I'll do is I'll use this attribute called ID equal to customer to make it unique, right? So I'll say at ID, then customer, right? So we reached to one element which is unique on this page. See, it is just coming as one. That means that this element is unique. Now, with respect to this table, I want to reach to this ID. So how can you do that? I can do that by traversing through this table. So I can say /t body, right? So I reach the body. Then I can say tr, which row you want. I want the 4th row. So you can see I reached the 4th row, which has this customer ID and its value, right? Then in that, I reach to, I access the TD. So without any index, it always points to the first TD. So the first TD is giving you the text called customer ID. But what I want the second TD. So I reach this second TD, right? So what this will give you? This will give you the X path for this value, for uniquely identifying this customer ID, right? So this is one example of using it as like the problem statement which we were mentioning, that if things are changing in dynamic element, how you're going to identify. So what we did, we first searched for another web element which was table. So in this case, for us, this table, uniquely identifying table, is the unique element. Then with respect to that, we are reaching to the desired node, right? I can use this in my code. So I'll open that code, and after this add customer, I'll add one more method. Let's say public void get customer ID. And instead of making it as a void, I can simply say it as return a string value, right? So here I can say return what? On my browser, I'm going to search the element first. So I'll call the method find element. Yeah, find element by dot xpath. Please ignore this. By dot xpath, and I'm going to pass the xpath here. Then from here, we're going to call the method called get text, right? So what this method is doing, first it is searching. See here, we are searching for this element, right? Then this element is which element? This value. Then I'm calling an action. Sorry. Yeah. Then I'm calling a method called getText. It's an action. What does this method do? It returns whatever text is associated with that element. So what is that text? That text is nothing but that value. So it will return that value, and here this method is going to return. So let's quickly run it from here. So I'll say string customer ID equal to Guru99 project dot get customer ID. What this method is going to do, this method is going to return a value which is customer ID in this variable, and then here I can print that. So I can say system dot println, and I'm going to print this customer ID. Okay, I have to save all the files. Let's execute this code. Right click, run as Java application. So it is executing the code now. So you can see it has executed to demo Guru99. Then it will run the whole code basically. First we'll add the elements. I mean, fill up the complete form, and then after that, it will get the customer ID. So here you can see it has printed the customer ID as well. Okay. So that's all for this session. In the next session, we are again going to talk. We are again going to cover a few more examples on dynamic XPath. That's all for now. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next session.